Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal is easily one of the most bizarre shows you will ever see. If you're not familiar with Nathan's previous work, I highly recommend Nathan For You. It parodies those documentaries where someone with questionable qualifications goes to help a small business grow. However, Nathan aims to provide the most absurd ideas as solutions to the problems faced by the business owners, and then get them to agree to them, mostly thanks to the cameras accompanying him. Your small electronics store is being driven out by the local Best Buy. Well, you can take advantage of their price match policy,
which guarantees they will match the price of any local competitor, preventing stores like Spears from underselling them.
Thus, you can sell your TVs for $1 and buy Best Buy stock for $1. But what if someone tries to buy the TV from your store? Well, we will enforce a strict formal dress code, get them to crawl through a small door, and finally walk past an alligator to get to the TV. All of that may seem like the ranting of a schizophrenic, and they play it like that as well. But it is the legitimate plot of Season 3, Episode 1 of Nathan For You. Some of his ideas, albeit absurd, have proven very successful. His dumb Starbucks was for a while a viral hit. But I digress. Watch Nathan For You. It is the 44th best show on IMDb's list, right after Better Call Saul. But then again, 49th is the late night comedian Orange Man Is Funny, so what do they know? The Rehearsal's premise is pretty simple. It is in the title. Get people who are struggling with something to rehearse for an upcoming confrontation. The first episode outlines it perfectly. Unable to tell a friend the fact that he does not have a master's, Core goes through different possible scenarios, planning what exactly to say, how to react, etc. Even the location where they will be meeting is perfectly replicated to better help the rehearsal. It is important to know that Core is a real person, and the woman that he is trying to come clean to is also a real person. However, before he actually does the real deed, he first prepares by talking to an actor who is playing his friend. This idea of rigorously preparing for an interaction was inspired by Nathan's work on Nathan For You. He and his crew would often go through different scenarios while preparing to execute their outlandish ideas with real people. And that's just the first episode. It presents the idea of the rehearsal, but I think nothing could prepare you for where it would take you. Episode 2 has a new subject that wants to rehearse a scenario. This time it is not a one-off interaction. Angela wants to prepare for motherhood by rehearsing being a mother of a kid who in the span of a few months will grow from a toddler to an 18-year-old. This one rehearsal continues to develop throughout the subsequent episodes and eventually becomes the main plot of the show. What drew my attention is the, perhaps even intentional, similarity to The Truman Show. Cameras everywhere, a man behind the screen controlling the events, a fake world constructed for the purpose of the show, a child growing up on camera. The only difference is who the real person is. While in The Truman Show, Truman is the only real character and everyone else an actor, here Angela, or the mother, is in the spotlight. Of course, there are other obvious differences which arise due to legal restrictions. For one, Angela is aware that everyone around her is an actor following some script. But this becomes more blurred in the next episode. In episode 3, Patrick is trying to confront his brother about their late grandfather's will. His brother is withholding part of the fortune that their grandfather left him out of fear that his girlfriend is a gold digger. To create the same emotions and stakes in the rehearsal as in the real life, the actor playing the brother speaks to Patrick out of character. He asks for help with his supposed grandfather, who is also played by an actor. Patrick and the grandfather bond while looking for a buried treasure, and when they find it, the faux grandfather states that now he wants Patrick to inherit part of it as thanks for all the help he did during the search. A few days later, Nathan informs Patrick that the grandfather has died. Naturally, he actually hasn't. The actor is alive and well, but the character has. Now, the actor playing Patrick's brother is the proprietor of the fake grandfather's will, and he wishes not to give Patrick his share out of fear that his girlfriend is a gold digger. The same stakes have been created. Patrick is in the exact same situation that he is rehearsing for, only he doesn't know that this one is actually fake. And this gets him to respond in a more emotional manner. The rehearsal culminates with Patrick breaking down crying, sharing with his fake brother what has been weighing on his heart for months.
Oops. I'm tired of living like it's the day after he died. So please, just let me move on and just let me have it.
The line between reality and act has become blurred for Patrick. This reminds me a lot of the work of Sacha Baron Cohen or Matt Johnson. Except while in their work the main character is an actor in a real world, here the main character is a real person in a fake world. And this perhaps makes all the emotions we experience as empathetic viewers all the more stronger. In a movie we may see a character crying and empathize with their sadness, as the movie has pulled us in and made us forget about the fakeness of it all. But the rational part of our brain will always be there to remind us that this is in fact fake. This does not happen in The Rehearsal. Here, when a person cries, these are real tears out of sadness. These are real emotions. They don't end when the camera cuts. And there is definitely something almost psychopathic about it. Playing with people's emotions like that is definitely a dangerous thing. I can see how one can become repulsed by the show. It is perhaps out of this repulsion that I began questioning whether any of it was real. Were we also being toyed by Nathan? Were all the people actually actors in disguise? Can we truly believe that what his narration is telling us about the transpiring events is indeed the truth? When the line between act and reality had become blurred, my brain was desperately trying to re-establish it somewhere. This is exactly the theme of one of the hardest episodes to watch. Episode 6 is the last episode of the series, but with Angela gone, the show kinda loses its purpose. This becomes evident by the rather weak first part of the 6th episode, as Nathan isn't quite sure what to do with the resources he has. However, he gets contacted by one of the mothers of the child actors playing Adam, his pretend son. Remy, the actual child's name, has begun mixing reality with the show. Raised by a single mother, he has become attached to Nathan as his pretend father and continues to refer to him as Dad. In class, he has drawn his new family with Nathan acting as his real father. There has been much debate on the internet whether the real people in the show were indeed real or were they actually actors. But so far it seems that they were real. While sure, as with any reality TV, they were misrepresented, they still are roughly like what they are in real life too. And this makes the episode so hard for me to watch. This isn't a kid playing that his family is separating in some movie. This is a kid who genuinely has to come to terms with the reality of the situation. Nothing can prepare you for the gut-wrenching feeling of watching this episode. It genuinely got me to tears. Episode 6 ends with Nathan playing Remy's mother in an attempt to understand how she feels and convey Remy's struggle. Remy is in turn played by another child actor a couple of years older. The final monologue, delivered by Nathan as Remy's mother, explains how hard it can be mentally for a child actor, as they lack the maturity of a grown-up to deal with emotions arising from the act. Luckily, not all episodes are as emotionally intensive. Episode 4 is a lot more lighthearted and goofy, and there are plenty of other hilarious moments throughout the show that had me audibly laughing at my screen. In short, The Rehearsal is one of the most ambitious shows I have seen by far. It is very unique, very innovative. But as a negative, it may become a prelude to more shows of this style, a style which was before reserved only for pranks. The show has also plenty of brilliant comedy and drama interwoven throughout it. It is spectacular to the core, and that core is very philosophical. For one, it asks the question, what does it take to truly understand someone else? What they think, how they feel, how will they act? Second, it shows the very nature of art, to create real emotions in people out of something staged, out of something fake. Watch this show, it is very good. Plenty of people who have seen it loved it. And I saw that HBO has officially announced a second season coming out in 2023. Overall, I will rate this show a I forgot the score out of I lost the original review when I wrote it. I tend to be very forgetful, which is why I make these silly little videos on this silly little channel. As the tide of time slowly washes away everything in its path, these videos will remain the only memory I have of the experiences once had. Thanks for watching.